Just in case you don't have time, rewatch 7 seasons Game of Thrones before the show's upcoming 8th and final season premiere. It's only 67 episodes. What's wrong with you? We here at Vanity Fair will be recapping every single season of the show in order to make sure key events are fresh in your mind. Since this is a rather daunting undertaking, it's 67 episodes, what do you expect of us? We're boiling it all down to the essential stories of the surviving characters set to do battle in Season 8. If you feel a little more ambitious, there's an extra credit section below with additional information that could be good to remember when the series returns. Just because a character has died, for instance, that doesn't mean they're unimportant. For a more in-depth look at some of the key episodes of Game of Thrones, you can dive into Vanity Fair's list of the 15 most essential episodes of Game of Thrones to rewatch before the final season. But for now, here's Season 4. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 7. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 6. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 5. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 3. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 2. Previously on Game of Thrones Season 1. Essential information: Cersei Lannister, Queen of Westeros, breaks up with her brother, gets ready for their son Joffrey's wedding, and makes enemies of a lot of people at said wedding. Cersei then gets ready for her son's funeral, and blames Sansa and Tyrion for Joff's death. She has confusingly shot with her brother next to their dead son's body, bonds with Oberyn Martell over their daughters, puts her brother Tyrion on trial, and is stoked to see him lose, though she will probably regret it, because Tyrion then kills their father, Tywin. Jaime Lannister, her twin brother, gets a shiny gold hand and a Valyrian steel sword, but loses the girl, aka his sister. He goes to his son Joffrey's wedding, fails to save him from assassination, goes to his son Joffrey's funeral, fails to obtain clear consent before having with his sister, gives his sword and some fancy new armor to Lady Brienne and tells her to go find the Stark girls, trains with Bronn, bonds with his brother in the Black Cells, and frees his brother, though he will probably regret it, because Tyrion then kills their father, Tywin. Tyrion Lannister, her other brother, meets Prince Oberyn, decides to send Shae away, attends Joffrey's wedding, is arrested for Joffrey's murder, goes on trial, gives an impassioned monologue about wishing he could kill everyone in King's Landing, chooses trial by combat, gets the Red Viper of Dorne as his champion, watches his champion get tragically slain by the Mountain, gets broken out of jail by Jaime, murders Shae, murders his father, and escapes on a ship with Varys. Bran Stark, the last surviving son of Winterfell, runs around inside his wolf's body, gets captured by Carl Tanner of Gin Alley, a bad guy, wargs into Hodor and murders Locke, a very bad guy, reaches the three-eyed raven's weirwood, and is told that he will learn how to fly. Then he takes next season off. Sansa Stark, his sister, is sad her family died at the Red Wedding, attends the Purple Wedding of Joffrey and Margaery, and is scurried away by Ser Dantos and handed over to Littlefinger, who tells her all about the plot to kill Joff, then takes her to eat lemon cakes with her crazy aunt, Lisa. She later smacks Lord Robin, gets kissed by Littlefinger, watches Lisa fly out the moon door, dyes her hair, and sets off on an adventure that is sure to include nothing but good decisions and happiness. Arya Stark, his other sister, continues her journey with the Hound to find her Aunt Lisa at the Eyrie, kills Polliver at an inn, gets Needleback, adds the Hound to her list, kills Rorge, has a good laugh at the Bloody Gate when she finds out she just missed Lisa going out the door, meets Brienne of Tarth, watches Brienne fight the Hound, leaves the Hound to die, and catches a ship to Braavos. Jon Snow, the bastard of Winterfell, survives a bunch of arrows Ygritte shot at him, testifies to his crimes of passion, meets the traitor Ollie, leads a raid on the mutineers of Craster's Keep, kills Carl Tanner of Gin Alley, burns down Craster's, has a talk with Sam, participates in the Battle of Castle Black, kills Ethan, watches Ygritte get shot by Ollie, holds Ygritte in his arms as she dies, is reminded that he knows nothing, goes north of the wall to kill Mance, is surrounded by Stannis's army, shares a weird glance with Melisandre, and burns Ygritte's body. Daenerys Targaryen, a Westerosi exile, walks past 163 dead children, liberates the city of Meereen, meets his Darzo Lorak, is presented with a burnt dead child, discovers Ser Jorah's treason, banishes him, then locks up two of her dragon babies, Rhaegal and Viserion. Their older brother, Drogon, who you know is the one who did the burning, is still at large. The Night King, a big scary blue guy, makes his very first appearance, and we find out what's been happening to Craster's infant sons when the king himself turns one into a babysicle with just the touch of a finger. Notable deaths: the Hound, or so we thought, Gren, Pip, Jojen Reed, Locke, Lisa Arryn, Shae, Ygritte, Tywin Lannister, Oberyn Martell, and King Joffrey, first of his name. Defining cultural moment just when Game of Thrones fans thought they had grown too savvy for all the surprises the show had in store, here came the death of Oberyn Martell, just when it looked like he might win his duel with the Mountain and set Tyrion free. Pedro Pascal had very little time to make an impression on audiences, but make one he did. His crushing, pun intended, defeat so early in the season, episode 8, proved another viral reaction video moment right on the heels of season 3's Red Wedding. It was also probably the last time Thrones fans were that shocked. Probably. This was also the first time serious leaks began to threaten the secrecy around some episodes of Game of Thrones. Thanks to a huge leap in the ratings after the viral popularity of the Red Wedding in Season 3, expectations around Season 4 were sky high, and the first 4 episodes of the year, which HBO sent out to press, as was its custom at the time, found their way online. This was the last year HBO released screeners for Game of Thrones. Extra credit: a pile of bodies closed out this season of Thrones, as Ygritte, Shae, Tywin, some nice Night's Watch lads, poor Jojen Reed, and, we think, the Hound all croak in the final pages of George R.R. Martin's third Song of Ice and Fire book. There have been more upsetting group deaths, the Red Wedding, and bigger group deaths, Cersei's Season 6 explosion of the Sept of Baelor, but none so widespread. There's major death in King's Landing, north of the Wall, on the Wall itself, and, we think, in the Riverlands. But, of course, book readers were surprised by the significant absence of one body, Catelyn Stark. In the books, the Mistress of Winterfell is resurrected as a forbidding figure known as Lady Stoneheart, but the show decided not to go that route. This season also marked the death of a number of villainous figures audiences love to hate, like Joffrey and Tywin Lannister. Their especially delicious, manipulative style gave way to some more brutal and bleak evil, in the form of figures like the Night King and Ramsay Bolton, who spent this entire season tormenting poor Theon Greyjoy. Still, this season finale marked the first finale in the Thrones run to earn unanimous critical acclaim. Rather than using episode 10 to set the table for the next season, as the show usually did, the Thrones writers threw a bunch of plot, see the aforementioned death toll, at the Wall and tied it all up with 2 major characters, Arya and Tyrion, sailing away from Westeros to a striking choral version of the show's Stark theme. This was Thrones' why feeling its power.